Welcome to the Relevance Report, where we explore the relevant stories that are shaping our world today. I'm Nicole Bell, your host this week. On today's show, we will talk about Edmonton's evolving urban centers and how fashion can inform personal politics on school campuses. We'll also learn about sustainable community gardening and finally, how dandelions can be beneficial for your health and wellness. Walking down White Ave and through Edmonton's downtown core, you'll notice the areas have changed. You've probably seen the many empty shop fronts, and it's impossible to ignore all the construction. Aidan Kenny looks at the state of our urban centers and what Edmonton is doing to try to breathe life back into the city.
Recently, many of the urban cores of Edmonton have been slowly eroding. Both White Ave and downtown have seen many decades-old businesses shutter for good, often with no new local businesses to replace them. A recent example to point to would be the Continental Treat Fine Bistro's White Ave location. The location opened in 1982 and was a staple of the community, sitting on the corner of White Ave and 105th Street. Many such examples have happened since the mass closures of the local businesses, which started during the COVID-19 epidemic of 2020. On White Ave, one can still stroll down the street and see many of the charming businesses of the area, with many scattered and sometimes large empty storefronts waiting between them. Many new businesses struggle to find their footing in the area, both corporate and small businesses alike. Heading to the downtown core of the city center mall went into receivership this last July. Heading into the mall is like a ghost town, with almost the entire west wing being composed of shuttered storefronts. This comes after the mall's largest clients, such as Hudson's Bay Company, closed their doors, and no new businesses came in to fill the empty storefronts. The city is trying hard to revitalize its urban experiences to bring back life into Edmonton when it isn't in the midst of one of its many festivals. The Alberta Avenue Business Association, with assistance from the City of Edmonton, has been attempting to revitalize the area by holding events. These should bring in new customers and local businesses to the area. Much of the same can be said for 124th Street, as they commission new murals and perform outreach to try to bring more of the Edmonton creativity and culture into the neighborhood. It isn't just the local business associations that are trying to revitalize public spaces, as the city has been trying to revitalize and reconnect its downtown areas for a while now. The city has poured billions of dollars into expanding the Valley Line to the west, taking the western ends of the city as far as Lewis Farms to the downtown core. With the new warehouse park being created in the heart of downtown, it should bring a much more walkable environment to the downtown area, allowing the businesses there to thrive. The hardest question to ask is how many businesses will manage to survive in this new downtown remodeling when it's happening. The heavy closure of roads and paths from both the LRT extension and the construction of Warehouse Park makes the area extremely hard to access. This means that many of the businesses located near these constructions will face extreme losses in foot traffic, and that'll put them in even more dire situations than they may already be.
Student fashion has become more than just a style choice. Sometimes it's a political statement. Fashion choices are diverse, ranging from thrifted jackets to protest pins and ribbon skirts. Students use clothing to symbolize solidarity, express resistance, and proclaim their identity. I explain more. Strolling across an Edmonton campus, you can tell what people care about before they say a single word. At MacEwan, NAIT, or the University of Alberta, attire is not about fashion only. It's politics stitched into hoodies, patches, and pins. Fashion as protest is a powerful tool of expression. Designers like Vivienne Westwood have shown us that even the simplest items, like a ripped t-shirt or a safety pin, can be transformed into a rebellious statement. The medium argues that even small emblems, a color, a slogan, and a ribbon can carry a rich meaning. The Yale Globalist points out that fashion shapes our understanding of gender, race, and class. Fashion opens up the space for expression and restriction, but the power of protest truly empowers us. Here in Edmonton, we've mastered the art of living that duality. On the 30th of September, you'll find orange shirts covering campus for National Truth and Reconciliation Day. They're not trends, they're acts of remembrance and solidarity. Students wear tote bags or pins advocating for Palestine, climate justice, or LGBTQ2S+ rights. A secondhand jacket with a protest patch may be discreet, but it's a voice to be heard in this city. Fashion is how most people present and represent their own worldview, and there's even a local identity imprinted on your winter gear. Edmonton's cold doesn't just drop you into a jacket, it gives you an option. Canada Goose flexibility, mech functionality, thrifted vintage gear. What we wear for winter says something about class, values, and belonging. Indigenous visibility is reshaping campus style too. This means more and more Indigenous students and community members are expressing their cultural identity through clothing choices. Ribbon skirts, beadwork, hoodies by Indigenous designers all assert presence and resilience. In lecture halls and at festivals, they demand that Indigenous isn't regulated to a single day. It is part of who the city is. However, the Yale Globalist also warns us that expression through fashion can have its limits. It highlights the risk of performativity, which is the act of wearing a statement without real action. This can lead to a superficial understanding of social issues and a lack of genuine engagement. The article also discusses how colonial history used clothing to oppress and resist. It names fast fashion's environmental toll, the danger of cultural appropriation, and how high fashion can reinforce class divides. Here too, students are wary. Is that political? T-shirt really saying something, or is it just aesthetic? Is it supporting a cause or just following a trend? For many, authenticity comes from thrifting, upcycling, or supporting Indigenous artisans, not from a mass-produced slogan. This reflection on authenticity in fashion choices is a key part of the conversation about fashion and politics on Edmonton campuses. So why this? Why now? Because Edmonton is polarized, and the campuses are an intersection of that tension. Every coat, shirt, ribbon, or pin is more than fabric. It's a question, a value, a claim. What we wear becomes part of the conversation about justice, memory, identity, and inclusion. Fashion is not just a personal choice, but a powerful tool that shapes and drives these critical conversations. So next time you stroll across campus, pay attention. Those jackets, patches, and pins, they're not simply going-ons. They're telling Edmonton's political story, piece by piece. Canadians want locally sourced foods that are cheap, healthy, and less processed. Trump's tariffs are taking effect, and grocery bills are skyrocketing. Instead of buying imported fruits and vegetables, some communities have turned to the style of sustainable gardening known as permaculture. Micah Pazik discusses the history of the practice and why community gardening might be the key to true food independence.
As the cost of living increases and arbitrary tariffs add to already rising grocery prices, seeking alternative sources of food becomes more and more important. That's why, when one of my neighbors offered to give me a tour of the community garden he was building, I was lured by the offerings of free food. He told me it was unlike any other community garden I'd ever seen, and he was right. It surrounded a church, and its parking lot was filled with trees, shrubs, and every assortment of green plant I could think of. We ate cherries, sweet peas, goji berries, honeyberries, and a piece of yellow shard straight from the ground. He showed me around, explaining what was where and why, as he sang the praises of a practice I had never heard of before, a sustainable gardening method known as permaculture. The term was coined by two Australian environmentalists, Bill Mollison and David Holmgren, who had concerns about the destructive practices of industrial agriculture. They observed self-sustaining natural ecosystems with no need for human intervention. Mollison pointed out that two things are almost universally undesirable: work and pollution. Taking inspiration from the indigenous communities who had been living off the land for thousands of years, they noticed those communities didn't spend all day maintaining their food sources. They let nature do it for them. Together, they published a book in 1978 called Permaculture 1, describing the techniques used to create food forests. If a garden is designed intentionally to collect the rainwater, you can eliminate the need for watering. If it has plenty of legumes and mycorrhizae, it can fix its own nitrogen, which reduces the need for fertilizers. If you integrate trees within the garden, you can stop soil and nutrient erosion, which fills our local bodies of water with algae. Through these techniques and many more, a sustainable food source can be created that only needs to be guided over time and can last for generations. These types of garden can be scaled easily, so you can start one in your own backyard. Or, if you're like me and don't have a backyard, maybe you can go to your local community center and suggest starting one if someone else hasn't yet. I think we can all agree, as our climate continues to change and international politics become more unpredictable, it would be wise to invest in our local communities to create something that can be renewable, low maintenance, and delicious.
Dandelions. It's the weed you love to hate. But the truth is, people are weeding out the health benefits of the yellow flower. Dandelions actually have many surprising health benefits. Taylor Harlock goes into the herbology and even shares fun recipes.
Dandelions. You know that weed in every Edmontonian's backyard that no matter how much you pick it, it just keeps coming back? Well, what if I told you it actually has a variety of uses when it comes to our health? Today I'm going to be talking about dandelions and how, although annoying, they have many insane health benefits. I'm also going to be touching on fun ways that you can introduce this plant into your diet. To start off, in the herbology world of medicine, the roots of a dandelion are known as liver purifiers, which help to eliminate toxins throughout the bloodstream. Not only that, but the roots also engage within our digestive tract by helping us produce enzymes. This increases our digestive rate. When moving up the plant, we find ourselves at the leaves. The dandelion leaf dates way back in helping kidney and bladder problems, and even more specifically, helping with water retention. The leaf has many of the minerals and vitamins that we seek in our regular diet, including potassium, calcium, and iron. And when diving deeper into the flower part of the plant, you'll notice that the dandelion has a milky substance. Did you know that this substance can be used in helping to get rid of warts in only under 2 to 3 weeks? That's pretty cool to me. Now, you might be wondering, do I just eat the plant right from my backyard? Well, you could, although you might digest some extra bugs and the taste could be incredibly bitter. So, here are my recommendations to add dandelion into your diet, but in a more tasty way. The first recipe I want to share is quite simple. Grab your dandelion leaves, steam them until wilted, and drain the liquid out, placing the leaves into a bowl. Add olive oil, lemon juice, crumble some feta, and voila, you have yourself a horta, a Greek dish. If you desire, you can also add other fresh greens to your steam as well. This pairs really nicely with a side on regular meals. The last recipe I want to share with you is known as the dandelion mocha. Research has shown that this recipe has helped hundreds of people cut back on their coffee intake and instead enjoy what the dandelion has to offer. To start, you're going to roast dandelion root and raw cocoa powder in water. After you let it simmer for about 30 minutes, you're going to strain the liquid. This is now where you can get creative by adding whatever your heart desires. For the fall time, I enjoy adding milk, vanilla, honey, and cinnamon powder to the strained liquid. Overall, I hope you took something away from this quick introduction to what the dandelion has to offer. And if you're looking to expand your knowledge, I got all of my information from the book Medical Herbs: A Beginner's Guide by Rosemary Gladstar. It has a lot of information regarding medical herbs. Anywho, thanks for listening, and I encourage you to see what nutritious benefits can be found right in your backyard.
Thanks for joining us for the Relevance Report. This week's episode was produced by Aidan Kenny, Nicole Bell, Micah Pazik, and Taylor Harlock. The show was edited by Aidan Kenny. Show supervising producer is Sheena Rossiter. Additional studio supervision by Sasha Stanoevich. This episode was produced as part of the BCSC 206 Introduction to Audio and Video course in the fall 2025 semester. This course is part of the Bachelor of Communication Studies program in the Department of Communication at MacEwan University. The show was edited and produced out of the MacEwan Media Production Studio. Our theme music is Buzzing by Kaylee Lambert. Additional music was provided by Pixabay. They include Everybody Has a Dream by Amaranta, Embrace by Evangie Barduza, The Beat of Nature by Folk Acoustic, and Love Romantic Hopeful Background Music by In Plus Music. Logo design for the podcast is by Sasha Stanoevich. And I'm Nicole Bell, your host for this week's episode. This podcast was recorded on Treaty 6 territory, the traditional and ancestral territory of the Cree, Dene, Blackfoot, Saulteaux, and Nakota Sioux. We acknowledge that this territory is home to Métis settlements and the Métis Nation of Alberta, District 9, 10, and 11 within the historical North Saskatchewan River Territory. Don't forget to subscribe to the Relevance Report on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you like what you heard, please leave us a review and a rating. It really helps people find the show. Please join us again next week when we report the relevant stories that are shaping our world.